To the right, goes to our next screen, right? It's not above, right, so it can't go up, right? Side to the right. This right here is our IXRF analyzer, so this is our EDS analyzer. And you notice that there's some lights that are moving around on this thing right now. There's some blinking happening. And every LED on here has a feature. So right now we have I/O, input output, it's yellow. It's telling us that we're talking to the PC. So we're communicating via an Ethernet cable to the PC, so that's good. The rate and the preamp are blinking green. So what that means is that we're actually seeing information. Even though I don't have my software window open, I'm not looking at anything, but as long as I have a beam, and as long as my detector is on, then it's picking up X-ray events. So if I was to blank this beam, for instance, if I was to come over here, if I was to get rid of this beam, one thing you'll notice is this meter right here went down to almost 0. See that? And so my rate and my preamp are still blinking because it's looking for information. So it's ramping, but this scale right now is showing nothing. So if I bring signal back in, now all of a sudden I start seeing information on this display. So it's telling me, it's an auto scale, so it's telling me 2,000 right there. So I roughly have about 1,000 C/S, which stands for counts per second. So 1,000 counts per second. If I select my menu on this, and I could look at LCD contrast, for instance, I could do some adjustments there. I could scooch down to oscilloscope. I could enter that and go to setup. Just for now, we always leave it on this screen. Later on, we'll talk about that stuff, but I just want to get you guys walking on this realistically. So this is important, counts per second. So we know we're seeing information. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to launch the software. Double click on that guy, and it's going to say initializing the digital pulse processor hardware, talking to the analysis dongle, and it's going to pop the software window in. Good, and that's how the X-ray window software package opens. The software package again is called Iridium Ultra. And so from here, this CPS that we had, this CS that we had down here, this little display, corresponds with this right up here. See where it says C-S? And C gives me a percentage there? Excuse me. So right now I'm seeing roughly 1,000, 800, 1,000 counts per second, and that fluctuates, it's normal. And so every second there's 1,000 X-ray events hitting the detector. And of those 1,000 events, 15% of those aren't being processed. So that scale right there is referred to as dead time. So that'd be 15% dead time, 16% dead time. It's an equation, it's okay. So the beam diameter is responsible for counts per second. So if I take my probe current down here, that's at 1, and I move this probe current to 10, well, what happened to my counts per second?
Went up.
All right, so it's up to what? Almost 3,000, right? 3,000, 2,800. So if I go probe current 10 to 15, now what?
Increase further.
5,000, 6,000, right? If I increase that again, right? Now what? 14,000 counts a second. Right? So, counts per second, the amount of X-ray events that are happening, are important because you want as many X-ray events as you can get, especially if you're looking for trace elements or something like that, right? Because you want to get as much X-ray information in that spectra that's going to be acquired. So just to let you know, beam diameter affects this counts per second. What's the minimum counts per second to acquire a spectrum? I'm going to say 6 to 800. If you're going to go below 600 counts a second, it's going to take a while for you to acquire a spectrum. It's going to take a while for you to look at data. Back in the old days of liquid nitrogen-based X-ray detectors, Not sure if you're familiar with it. Not sure if you are or not. But X-ray detector should be this giant detector